You were designed as a verdict. Broad chest, dense frame, a jaw built to terminate arguments. When you bite, you do not let go. When you hold ground, you hold it completely. The Romans called your ancestors Molossians and marched them into war. Soldiers who broke enemy lines with 4 legs and 130 pounds of intent. The Doberman people say it does not matter, that you are slow, that by the time you reach the threat, the Doberman has already solved it. They are not wrong about the Doberman. They are wrong about the question. Every year, this conversation happens millions of times. Someone asks which dog would win. Someone else mentions bite force. Someone else mentions intelligence. And both sides are measuring the wrong thing. The Rottweiler community has numbers. 328 pounds per square inch. A body weight advantage that can reach 50 pounds. A grip that does not release until told to. They point at these facts and call the conversation closed. The Doberman community has different numbers. 32 miles per hour. A reaction time measured in fractions of a second. The only breed in history designed from scratch for one singular purpose: personal protection. Both of them are right. Both of them are wrong. Because they are not having a conversation about protection. They are having a conversation about combat. And those are not the same thing. You were not built for combat, Rottweiler. You were built for consequence. The Romans called your early ancestors Molossian war dogs. Mastiff-type animals used to break enemy lines and guard supply camps. When the Roman legions retreated from southern Germany around 74 AD, they left their cattle behind and left their dogs with them. In a city called Rottweiler, those dogs became something different. Butcher dogs, herding dogs, animals that drove cattle to market and guarded the butcher's earnings on the road home. They were not attack dogs. They were deterrents made physical. The threat that made threats unnecessary. The Doberman's history is the opposite of an accident. Karl Dobermann spent years crossing breeds deliberately. Rottweiler blood for fearlessness. German Pinscher for agility. Black and Tan Terrier for tenacity. Greyhound for speed. Weimaraner for scenting. He was building a tool for a specific job. Walking alone through dangerous places with something worth stealing. The Doberman is not a dog that evolved into a protector. It is a dog that was engineered to be nothing else. Purpose-built from the ground up for exactly one scenario. One is a wall that was never meant to move. One is a system that was never meant to stop. Here's what the internet argument is actually about. Rottweiler bite force, 328 pounds per square inch. Doberman bite force, 245 pounds per square inch. That is an 83 psi gap. The Rottweiler people say the conversation ends there. It does not end there. A Rottweiler in working condition weighs between 80 and 135 pounds. Top speed, 22 miles per hour. Built for short explosive bursts and held positions. A Doberman in working condition weighs between 60 and 100 pounds. Top speed, 32 miles per hour. Built to sustain pursuit over distance. 32 miles per hour. Faster than most horses at sprint pace. When a Doberman commits to intercepting something, it is already there before the Rottweiler has left its position. Intelligence rankings, which are imperfect but not meaningless, place the Doberman 5th among all breeds. The Rottweiler 9th. Both are exceptional. The difference is execution speed. The Doberman reads a situation and responds before most dogs have finished processing what they are seeing. The Rottweiler holds. The Doberman intercepts. Neither of these is a flaw. They are different architectures solving different problems. Here is where both sides get this completely wrong. In a real protection scenario, the Rottweiler's behavior is territorial. It positions itself between the threat and the thing it is protecting. It does not pursue. It holds ground. If something enters its space, it makes leaving that space extremely difficult. 328 pounds per square inch in a stationary defensive position is not a number. It is a door that does not open from the outside. In a real protection scenario, the Doberman's behavior is offensive. It does not wait for the threat to come to it. It moves toward the threat at the first signal of danger. At 32 miles per hour, the Doberman has already closed the distance before the threat has finished deciding. The online argument assumes these dogs are fighting each other. They are not. They are responding to a human threat. And human threats behave differently. Most human threats are deterred before contact. The sight of a Rottweiler between an intruder and an exit ends the scenario before it starts. That is the Rottweiler's greatest weapon. The threat of what happens if you do not leave. Most human threats that escalate past deterrence are running. The Rottweiler does not chase. The Doberman does not stop. This is not a fight. It is two different answers to two different versions of the same problem. People have strong feelings about both of these breeds for a reason that goes beyond data. The Rottweiler looks like a decision. Broad, low, dense. When it walks into a room, the room knows it is there. Something ancient in that presence. Something that connects to the part of human instinct that recognizes a serious animal and recalibrates accordingly. People who own Rottweilers describe it as having a boulder that happens to love them. The security is physical. It occupies space. The Doberman looks like a consequence. Lean, angular, fast. When a Doberman locks its eyes on something, that something becomes the only thing in the room. People who own Dobermans describe something different. A dog that is always running calculations, always processing, always slightly ahead of what is happening. Both of these dogs have been misrepresented by film and culture. The Rottweiler as mindless aggression, the Doberman as cold and mechanical. Neither is accurate. Both are working dogs that require working owners. The intelligence that makes a Doberman exceptional at protection is the same intelligence that makes it destructive when understimulated. The loyalty that makes a Rottweiler an immovable guardian is the same loyalty that makes it suspicious of everyone that is not you. These are not pets with extra features. They are tools that chose to love you. Nobody gets this right because nobody is asking the right question. The question is not which dog would win a fight. The question is what threat you are actually preparing for. If your threat is someone deciding your home is a target, someone who needs to see something immovable between them and what they came for, the Rottweiler is that answer. It will not move. It does not need to. The physics of 130 pounds that has decided you are not going further does most of the work without contact. If your threat is something that has already committed, someone moving fast, someone who does not stop at deterrence, the Doberman is that answer. It will be there before the threat finishes deciding. It does not wait for things to come to it. The Rottweiler is a wall. The Doberman is a missile. You do not compare a wall to a missile. You decide which one your situation requires. Both sides have been right the entire time. They just never asked the right question.